and we want the fans out of their seat. We want to score goals. We want to give them, momentum on our side, and then on the flip side is when we don't have the ball, is it we got to be dogs.
Hay alguien al que se le encienden las musas, como al bueno de Petar, el partido se equilibra. Remata sobre el primer palo del arquero Burki. A ver, con tanta potencia, me cuesta responsabilizar al suizo.
And we are live. Welcome, everybody. As I just posted my little last tweet here to let folks know they can join us. As we're live again, the Afterburn Soccer Show. Thanks for joining us, everyone, who will be trickling into the stream here. I'm Nathan. You can follow me at Afterburn Soccer over on X. With us again is our good buddy Chris at CWintus on X, and our buddy Jose at El Chico Carmona.
What's up, everybody?
Colin will hopefully join us in a bit, but he's working on these Monday nights, so it's kind of a strange thing for him. So we hope the best. Hope he doesn't get in trouble. Don't get in trouble, Colin. You need that. You need that job. We don't know what, you need that job. So good. We have a lot to get into as we talk about FC Dallas. Hope to get a few folks in here with questions, comments, some FC Dallas fans sharing, and of course appreciate everyone's support of the pod. But let's get right into a busy weekend of action. Of course, big storyline is FC Dallas goes into St. Louis and comes away with a 1-1 away draw. The drama of this one is Michael Collodi getting sent off for what I think we could talk about was a little sketchy red, but maybe VAR didn't see enough to overturn it. St. Louis is able to get a goal, and then Petar Musa, as you saw in our opening credits there, with just a sensational, professional, just a great goal, a clutch moment for this team, and a huge performance from Jacob Jackson, making his Major League Soccer debut and earning also a Major League Soccer Player of the Week honors today. We'll chat about that in a minute, but let's just get reactions to this match. Jose, we'll start with you. A 1-1 away draw. What did you make of this?
Is that the second red card against a keeper in St. Louis is that 3 years now or 2 years? I don't know, but I can't.
I think it's 3.
Yeah, I think it's in 3, and that's. I mean, come on now. Is that a coincidence? I don't know. It's kind of hard to see, but I don't think a lot of people are happy that it's a draw, but you gotta look at what transpired on that pitch, and you can't help but walk away happy with that performance. 10 men down, a goalkeeper that, frankly, I don't know anything about and wasn't expecting anything remotely close to what we got out there. I mean, that guy what did he finish with? Jackson finished with 11 saves?
12 saves, something like that, yeah.
Well, he may have 13 saves unofficially because that draw may have saved this team's playoff chances. They needed to come away from that game with a point at the minimum. Every point counts down to stretch, and yes, they got to start winning. But the truth is they got to win their home games. Get all 3 of your remaining home wins, and then just have to get a win, 1 win on the road, and you got a good shot at making it in. So, bravo. My takeaway is this team played better with a man down. We finally saw that the dogs come out, and this team played just probably the best team soccer they played this season. They were down 1-0, down one man, to get a goal and then finish with a 1-1 draw. I can't find any fault in that. I'm pretty happy.
I just threw up this stat from at MLS Stats, and of course, 43 shots for St. Louis.
Unreal.
I mean, Chris, what were your thoughts from this draw?
Yeah, kind of the same. I think I'm, it's funny to say happy with a point, but all things considered, going down a man early, bringing in a backup goalkeeper who hasn't really seen any sort of playing time for FC Dallas, actually none at all. Like, you don't know what we're going to get from him. I mean, that's kind of the best case scenario, right? And then Petar Musa, just absolute class in front of net. So, yeah, I was happy. I was good. And then, just kind of like what Jose was saying for the rest of the schedule, we play LA Galaxy twice, so that's a favorable matchup. You've got, teams like Austin, Colorado, and Portland on the schedule, and those are all teams that are fighting for that last two playoff spots, really. So it's kind of a favorable schedule, in my opinion, kind of control your destiny, but I was happy with the point.
Let's jump over real quick. We'll hear Eric Quill. I was able to ask him a quick question, and in my, trying to formulate words, I kind of slipped up and said to him, how do you feel about the away win? And, of course, he corrected me, but then said, well, it was a draw, but it felt like a win. So here's his response.
Well, it's a tie, not a win, but it's not, and feels like a win. But that's, in a place like this, the amount of time to be down against a technical side like St. Louis, who I know, yes, they sit, not where they want to be in the playoff mix, but that's a good side with that when they're up a man with their technique and their profiles. And they had chances. Look, they had chances. Jacob Jackson kept coming in the game. Even Collodi, before he got red carded, 2 big saves, I think. The defensive effort, the grind, the organization, as fatigue set in, the mentality to stay engaged and contest shots and slide and do all these things that, this team's fighting. And I think FC Dallas fans should, again, we want to win games, but I think FC Dallas fans, if you watch tonight, yeah, we took on 30 shots, but you have to be a proud fan to see what a team just did for the Crest, and they're fighting with every bit of themselves to make it in. And we may look back on this point at the very end and say what a massive point it is, because we have the potential to get in. And I really wish it would have been 11s for the night, because I think the way that we've been trending and the way we've been playing, we are going the right direction. And next weekend is going to be a massive game, and I'm looking forward to it because I'm watching what I'm watching in training, and the quality is there along with the mentality. And I just think that we're becoming a team that is working hard for each other, rooting for each other. The chemistry is off the charts, amazing, and they all want it. They want to be in the playoffs, and they're fighting like they want to be in. And I can't be more proud to be their coach right now.
It's interesting just how some of his energy, his language has changed since some of those really glum down days when the team was just a mess. That you could see even in Quill right now a bit of spirit, of that fight, that sense of pride, that feeling that, as he says there, the team is beginning to be a team. The team is finding ways to fight for each other. So I think that is the big positive, and I think the message too for FC Dallas fans, because on some level, if you've been following this team for a long time, I certainly have been for a while. We're never going to be the top spenders in this league, barring major changes of some kind. But this has always been a team that's battled. It's always had that dog in them, that fight, that determination, that ability to grind out results. And so this was a big result. Once again, when this team was down and out, and they found a way to get something positive. And at the very least, even if they don't make the playoffs, there are some of these results they can look back on and go like, hey, there's something here in this mix of players. Yeah, we need to get better. There's, maybe some movement that needs to happen still over the winter, but there's something here that we can take and build upon even into next season. Though a lot of games to be played, so too early to think about next season, right? A lot of games to be played. I mean, the question mark, the big story is Jacob Jackson. I mean, the dude, they traded for him. Martin Paz is out with injury. It sounds like he will still be out for a bit, maybe for the rest of the season. Now you're going to miss Michael Collodi this weekend, so Jackson's going to have to step up. No one knew that this storyline would be in the mix, and yet he looked great on Saturday night. So I don't know if that was just the adrenaline of the moment, but it does seem just like another twist to this season that any of us didn't see coming. So my question out to FC Dallas faithful was like, hey, is this guy already a folk hero? Like, and do we need to find a nickname for him? I don't know if you guys had any nicknames in mind. I saw one, DBG, Dallas Beer Guardian, said JJ, a wrestling, a reference there. I like Jacob Blockson, I think.
Yeah, I saw that one as well. I thought that was pretty solid. Jacob Blockson.
Yeah.
I don't have anything. I mean,
we know nothing about this guy, right? I mean, he's like,
yeah.
It's kind of hard to top the Collodi kid for Michael, and so I mean, I don't know. I think Jacob Blockson's pretty good, and it kind of leads into the next.
How about his middle name is Daniel, so how about JD Blockson?
Oh, okay. Now we're cooking with some gas here.
Yeah.
All right. Nice.
I was gonna say it's kind of funny that before the season started, Paz, I think had been playing well, but there were some internal rumblings like, you've got not goalkeeper issues, but like, man, we've got one solid goalkeeper, and then who's like the next man up? Because Collodi had a lot of question marks behind him, but then he comes out and has been playing phenomenal. And then we bring in Jacob Jackson, and you've got him, albeit it's one game, but he plays great. So then it's like, do we have an overabundance issue of goalkeepers, which is not a bad thing to have, but it's just kind of a funny situation to find yourself in.
Right. And I don't really know the health of Martin Paz. I mean, I think that's a big question mark. I mean, there was that rumor, we chatted, I think, about it in our last show 2 weeks ago, of Dallas bringing in another keeper. That has been silent about that. I imagine we would have heard of that happening if it's happening. I'm guessing on Saturday, if Paz isn't ready to go, if he even as a backup, that JG Harms may get the call up, to.
I've loved his development. That I know, I don't want to jump too far ahead, but his last few games for North Texas have just been almost a complete 180 from what he's done at the beginning of the season. I think a lot of that's probably stemming from the fact that him and Montoya and just all the changes at goalkeeper for North Texas, all the rotation, nobody was able to get kind of a firm grasp on a solid few games, and Harms has really taken over that position, which has been a great sign for them. But
yeah, we'll chat. Well, let's go ahead and shift to them too. So as Eric Quill mentioned, of course, FC Dallas will be welcoming Austin FC this coming weekend. So we'll come back to that. We'll look at some predictions, talk about where these two teams are. It's a big match. It is as big a match as any. We'll chat about that in a minute. But turning back to North Texas, of course, North Texas Soccer Club previous weekend got a huge away win at Ventura County. I literally drove kind of past the stadium on the way home from a scout trip with my son, and I was like, I wish I could just pop in. But to see the team, Sam Sarver got his 16th goal of the year, I believe. Penalty kick, just a great moment for him, and a great win for the team that has just not been consistent. And then they come back home. I know they wanted the 3 points. They go down a goal. They don't have Sarver out there. Not really the attacking firepower yet. This team's still missing that. They miss Sarver for sure. But Aaron Essel comes up huge once again, comes up with an equalizing goal late in stoppage time, a header, and then the team goes on with confidence to win the penalty kick shootout. So they get 2 points, which, hey, again, I think you take that result. It puts them back above the playoff line, and gives them that boost of confidence that they need. Chris, what'd you see in this performance overall from North Texas? Are you pretty satisfied, or do we still have the same questions about this offense and this team just really getting that consistency that they need?
Yeah, I think it's kind of a little bit of both. I was very pleased, and I think most North Texas fans were, just because going into that game, Ventura, or the 2-game stretch, Ventura was 4th. You have back-to-back games against them, one road, one home, and you're assuming, okay, maybe we get 2, maybe 3 points from that entire road trip or the entire 2-game stretch, and you end up walking away with 5. That's a great scenario for us. But then you also, we played the kids last game. And so you're missing Anthony Ramirez, you're missing Sarver, you're missing, a ton of just regular starters, and the team kind of rallies around, albeit not a whole lot of chances, but still you find a way to tie the game and then end up winning in PKs. That's all you can really ask for, especially while guys like Sangari are getting the feet underneath them and finally getting the opportunity to start at striker. I was super pleased. I still think, obviously, it's going to be interesting to find out where that offensive firepower comes from, just with no Sarver. But we'll see. I've liked the development from some guys. I wanted to mention JT Harms earlier. I've really been liking Jackson Dubois at the right back. He was kind of a late, additional add-on at right back, but he's a tall guy and he's very fast. He's got some nice size to him. Caleb Swan has kind of blossomed into this great sort of central midfielder. A lot of positives, and I think favorable schedule. Hopefully things kind of continue going their way and they're able to make a run in the playoffs.
Yeah. Jose, were you able to catch up on this one for North Texas?
Of course. And I want to say I had said our last podcast that I thought the first of the 2 games against Ventura County was probably a must-win game. And I will go out to tell you that is this team's biggest win of the season, and the back-to-back results. It's a home and away. You come out with 5 points against a team way ahead of you in the playoff standings. That's clutch. It's around this time last year that North Texas, tightened their belts and got ready to make that run to the title game. And I'm not saying they're going to make a title run, but they seem to be getting themselves steeled for the playoffs. And I want to point out, with 4 games to go, that this results puts North Texas in line to finish as high as 4th. There are 3 points separating the 4th team all the way down to the 8th team, and 4 points separating the 4th team to the 9th team. And that team that's 3 points ahead of North Texas has to play North Texas. Also, Minnesota United, who's 1 point ahead, has to play North Texas. And then North Texas has 2 what on paper appear to be easy games in Sporting Kansas City and LAFC 2. 2 games that they have to win. They can't get draws against. And then it sets up showdowns against Monarchs, currently 4th, in Dallas, and then at Minnesota after that. So they get results in these games. North Texas can finish as high as 4th. They can make a run to the 4th spot from where they are currently if they get results. And I'm going to tell you why that's important, because St. Louis has had their number. St. Louis has had everybody's number. They've basically, I can't remember the last time St. Louis City 2 lost, in all honesty.
They're so good this season.
Yes, they're on a tear. And I have a feeling that if North Texas doesn't finish in the top 4, St. Louis will pick them, because the last thing they want is North Texas to get hot. better to take them out in the first. St. Louis, I think, would say, okay, who's the most dangerous of the 4 teams that we can play against? And I think St. Louis would say, okay, we need to take that team out. And some coaches are that way. They're like, hey, who's the most dangerous? They're not going to take the easiest because they want their players to be sharp, down the stretch. So very, very most important results of the season. And I'm glad to see the team, locking things down, and hopefully we'll start to see a little more consistency with the lineups. And this team, like I said, stealing itself for at least make an attempt to defend their title.
Yeah, it's good. I just was really pleased with the fight of this team, and I think the PK shootout was just a challenge, and just so often a coin flip on just who is mentally there. But to see the team, get that late goal and just carry that confidence into it, just get the one, I guess, save. I guess the ball ricocheted off the crossbar, but you take it. You take it. You build off of these things for this team. They need the consistency. It's exciting, yeah, and I think we're going to go. And of course, I think you've said it before, Jose. If they keep going, depending on what happens with FC Dallas, Sam Sarver might be available, to help boost them in this. He, might be available in the playoffs. So Logan Farrington, who well, they made him available last year. I don't know that he'll be available this year, but you got some guys from the senior team who can come down and provide some extra help. Oh, and by the way, Tariq Scott, credit to him. He scored his first for Monterey Bay FC this past weekend as well. So
big goal for him.
Good poacher's effort, yeah. So good stuff. And we got soccer ahead. So let's jump right into it. I was pulling up my so let's talk about FC Dallas first, because I realize I don't even know who North Texas is playing.
While you're doing that, I want to point out that Jackson had a very similar coming up as Kaladi, as he's a guy that has mostly been an MLS Next Pro,
right?
With New England Revolution 2, I believe. And it's just simply been unable to break into the senior team. So here's a guy who has showed out at the same level that Kaladi did. And how wild is it for this team to have 2 guys that came up through MLS Next Pro, as their number 2 and number 3. And let's be honest, potentially they're 1 and 2 next year, because this team would, if they're happy with their 2 and their 3, may decide to part with a more expensive veteran. I mean, I don't think he's that expensive, but this club, if there's money to be made with one of your players, they would. And not necessarily, it may not necessarily be Paz. They could opt to sell one of these 2 guys. So I'm just saying, it's great to have 3 goalkeepers you're happy with, but I don't think the team is gonna sit on those riches.
Yeah. Well, let's start with North Texas. I did look at it earlier. They're playing Sporting Kansas City at home. Of course, Sporting Kansas City 2 has already been eliminated from playoff contention. They've not been good this year, and yet
they're the worst team in MLS Next Pro, and it's not even close.
I was gonna say by a long shot.
Yes, it's not even close. They are the worst team. Minus 34 goal differential. I mean, this is a team that you have to just simply go in and take care of business. Don't get cute. Get it done. Focus on the playoffs. This is a team that they have to simply go in there and just get a professional win. Get it done.
Yep. I was very disappointed with the senior team for not. They had Austin at a draw, and I thought, hey, I'll take that result. But Austin was able to get the win last weekend. But yeah, we got to take care of things at home against Sporting Kansas City too. And maybe this is the game where you get a couple of guys going. You try to get Sangare going. You have to get your playoff lineups gelled. You stop experimenting unless you still have question at one spot or 2. Lock down your 11 and figure out your rotation on the bench. This is the time for the team to basically just, all right, let's put our best out there and let's close this deal and let's try to get that 4th seed. All right, so predictions for this one.
3-0.
Yeah. Okay.
3-0. I think it's a team that you go out there and you take care of business, and if you play your game, the win comes. Their defense is atrocious. their attack's non-existent. This is a team that you should, at home, it's got to be at least 3-0, potentially more, but I'll go with 3-0.
Chris.
I think that's a extremely solid prediction. That's what I was originally going to go with, but then I remembered when I said 4-0 against LAFC2, and we saw how that transpired, as
Yes,
Jose correctly pointed out before the game. But I think
I did say they were a lot tougher than they
you
looked.
spot on called it. I mean, he
Yeah,
just had the
true.
analysis from the beginning. Just a little shout out there, but I'm
Thanks,
gonna go
appreciate
I'm gonna go 2-0. I think, like Jose saying, I think this is a game that you have to go in and get a professional win. I still am a little worried about the offensive firepower, so I'm a little hesitant before I'm going to go all in and say, okay, like this is going to be a team that we just trounced, even though they are one of those teams that could happen to. I'm going to go with 2-0.
I'll be a little more of a pessimist, go 2-1, and I think SKC2 will get a late goal, kind of a late goal thing, but it'll be late. I think the game will pretty much be solid, but I just think it's going to be that kind of victory that has that professional element, but Gall will also, after the game, still go, hey, guys, we got stuff to work on. Like, we've got improvements. We can't let it be that close against a team like this. All right. Good. All right, we got wins now. Now let's turn. Of course, Austin FC comes up to FC Dallas, to Frisco, a huge playoff game. FC Dallas needs the win, and as much as Austin FC is really not that much better than FC Dallas, I think we've talked about that before. They have been better. I mean, I think that they're ahead of this in the standings for a reason, and they would love to play spoiler here and come out with a draw any day of the week, and especially to make their in-state rivals suffer a bit. And of course, we have this goalkeeping situation, which is going to add a little wild card to everything. And yet, I'll start things off. I think it's going to be the same score, 2-1. I think Dallas is going to find, this time, though, a late winner to push them into all 3 points. But it's going to be nervy, and this team is going to have to battle. But and I'm hoping that it's a Sam Sarver winner. I'm just praying that he comes on late and he finds something special.
I will lose my mind if that happens. I will be screaming. I'll have my neighbors all waking up. That would be insane. That'd be awesome, though.
Predictions, Jose?
I'm gonna go with you and go with the 2-1 win, and that's simply because this team, since the New York City FC match, the defense has really come to life in the last 4 games. I think they've been rock solid. A lot of that has to do with Kappas coming in and really solidifying that midfield. I think he just provides so much poise. He had the assist in the draw this last week. A guy who is, we were talked about it. You had him and you had Dietz, and I said of the two, he's the one that's most likely to settle in faster, as he's from the area. He knows people. He's been here before, not in a professional capacity, but he's been here. And you're starting to see some of his qualities show themselves. Everything that our manager demands from his players, Cap is that, and he's showing it. And like I said, the defense has just been better. They've been. I'm not saying they're not perfect, but I mean, look good against LAFC. Look good, being down 10 men. I think that gives me hope. 2-1.
Okay, Chris.
So looking at the last 3 games, my inclination was 1-1. Right? We've had a 1-1 result for the last 3 games. Then I was like, okay, maybe I go 2-1, but both of y'all said 2-1. So I think I'm going to kind of piggyback off of what Jose was saying with the defense. I think the defense has significantly improved. I think we get a 1-0 draw, or not draw, but win, 1-0 win. I think Jackson comes back. He performs well again. And I think Pedro Musa just is able to find a nice little hole in the defense and caps off a late game winner.
Good stuff. I mean, it would be brutal for us to pick a loss right now. I mean, but with the way the season has gone, I mean, we're a draw at home, but
yeah,
it'll be a big gut punch for this team's postseason chances to just settle for a draw. Maybe not the end of the world, but it'll be tough. But I think I'm hoping that the fire that Quill showed in that post game comment is where the team really is feeling, and that they know that they're close. They're closer than they have been this season to sort of putting together that performance that they've sort of been just out of reach, that complete performance of both sides of the ball. So I'm hoping we get to see that. But, it's going to be a fun one. All right.
I have a quick question for you guys
Yes.
before we call it a day. Of course, Colati's going to be out next week, but he'll, this next game, but then he'll be back. My question is, do you give Jackson playing time with North Texas? I mean, they got that playoff push coming, and he balled out. Wouldn't you want him to continue to get minutes, especially as a guy he's had 3 years at that level? So I'm just curious about that. Would you send him down to get a couple of games in with North Texas so that he then becomes available for the playoffs?
I mean, it's not out of FC Dallas's wheelhouse, right? Like they did that last year with Farrington and a couple guys. Like, why not, as the playoff push comes out, drop a couple guys, especially if Jackson plays well, I think, this week, assuming he does play. As much as I think Harms has been playing phenomenal, I love his development. If you're really trying to push for a trophy, make sure you have all of the guys out there that are going to give you that best chance. But you know what? I also leave it up to Gall, because I think he's been pretty solid with his choice of the starting 11 recently. So, and Gall we trust.
Agreed.
All right, yeah, we'll leave it there. Got to run and pick up the son from practice. That's been my schedule. A lot of high school football in the Hill family household lately.
Fun times.
Hey, and NFL is back. College football. I mean, there's just so much to watch right now. This is that time of the year. There's just a lot going on.
I'm just glad Colin wasn't here, because his Packers played my Lions, and I could not deal with the the comments about our loss. So. We'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, me neither. Believe it or
My
not,
son's a Ravens fan. We were watching that, and it was just,
We're all down bad this week.
We were all good.
Hey, as a Cowboys fan, I will tell you though, that's the best I felt after a loss in forever.
Yeah,
I can hear
positive takeaways.
There were some really fun moments.
That's the most proficient and professional I've seen that team play in years, where they looked well coached. I'm getting carried away, but just the coaching staff delivered on all their promises against the reigning Super Bowl champion. I'm all of a sudden, I've gone from to like, hey, we may be onto something here.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, guys. Thanks for joining us. Thanks, everybody, for listening. Of course, like, subscribe, share, and follow us at afterburn.soccer. All right.
All right, guys.
Night.
Good night.
All right. Oh, it went black. I don't know why, but okay.